Welcome to Chalk Talk, a weekly preview of West Tennessee football featuring the JSUN sports team on JSUN.com.
Hey everybody, welcome into the first edition of the College Football Chalk Talk here on JSUN.com. I am sports columnist Brandon Shields here with our local college sports writer Craig Thomas. And Craig, I guess football season in West Tennessee officially started last week with Bethel, them getting their win last week on the road. But this week it really gets ramped up with UTM going on the road into Mississippi for a game against one of their annual SEC opponents.
Yeah, so UTM's really ramped up the SEC play under Jason Simpson. I think there's a handful of reasons for that. I mean, frankly, UT Martin needs the money. Everybody knows that they're trying to get that stadium financing on track, get that thing finally built after it's been delayed a little bit. And this is, this is the kind of thing that kind of game is for, obviously, and just sort of funding the athletic department in generle. I know that eventually Julio Ferry kind of wants to get away from so many of the games,
right.
But right now it's looking like it's going to definitely be at least 2 a year. But Ole Miss is the first one. Obviously, on the field, to say it'd be a humongous challenge is frankly an understatement. Ole Miss looking like a contender there in the SEC West, which is probably the toughest division in all of big college football. So
or the NFL,
right? Sure.
No.
Yeah. Whatever. But UT Martin, I think there's a couple ways to go into this. Obviously, you want to execute what you're going to do as well as you can. But Jason Simpson, when we talked Monday, I mean, he acknowledged that like some of the things that he wants them to do, it's just you're not going to be able to do it against a front four that's just frankly different than anything you're going to see in the Ohio Valley Conference. And that's not a slight. That's just the way it is. That's the difference between FBS and FCS. So you're not going to have as much time to do some of the things that that you're going to need to be able to do. So if UTM gets blown out in this game, that's not an indicator to me that they're not going to compete in the OVC. We'll really see that honestly when they play Jacksonville State in that first conference game. That's going to tell everything because that's the favorite at this point. I think right now for UTM, you go down there, you get your check obviously, and you just don't want to embarrass yourself. Frankly, when they went to Kentucky last year, the first game of the season, they got embarrassed. When they went to Mississippi State later in the year, a team that was #1 in the country at the time and certainly better than Kentucky was, they did it much better. They didn't lose by as much, but they were just in the game a lot longer. And I think that does mean something to those guys, whether they're from Mississippi or not. They know about Ole Miss. They know that about some of the top players and the fact that Ole Miss expects to be in Atlanta just like all the other SEC West schools do. So from that standpoint, I think you look at Jared Neal, essentially a third-year co-starter, if you want to think of it that way. He's the guy now with Dylan Favre gone. You've got basically on the 2 deep, all your receivers are back. Your top 4 and then your 4 behind them have some experience. You've got some experience at running back. Your O-line's young, but really throughout the year you expect UTM to have some pretty good offensive days. I don't know that Saturday's necessarily going to be one, but I'm just curious to see everything essentially with this being week 1. Just what does everything look like? So there's a lot to look forward to I think out of that game. Like I said, the result not so important, but the development on the field I think is absolutely important.
All right, well, then the other game going on this week, Lane is also going south. For a game, they're going to Concordia Selma, which is down south of Montgomery. Yeah,
Lane has had an interesting offseason, I guess, in the last couple of weeks. Not something that was super expected, but what's been getting all the talk. Working to get former Vanderbilt player Brandon Banks on the team. He was out in California last year, didn't play it down. Kind of some complications there with, I guess, sort of the public relations aspect of him being on the team. He was accused, has not gone to trial, but has been accused of being part of the rape that happened allegedly at Vanderbilt a couple of years ago. So that's obviously just sort of an off-field thing, a very big deal. On the field, I suspect, honestly, and honestly, frankly, some people might not like this, but I think his presence at Lane is going to encourage that football team and galvanize them to some degree. I think just knowing that he's a talented player and it's kind of an unexpected bonus from a football standpoint, I suspect that those guys are really going to welcome having him there. Whether he specifically makes a huge difference in the first couple of weeks, I don't know that I would necessarily say that. You just don't know. And obviously they got to get everything, settled in and have him, get cleared and everything. But I think honestly to have him there would be a huge boost for Lane mentally, given the way last season went. I remember talking to Malik Hoskins, who was coaching last year. Now he's back as the offensive coordinator, he has said near the end of the year, he said one of the things that happens in Lane's program traditionally is when things start going bad, people start to sort of go the wrong direction mentally. He hadn't seen a lot of mental toughness when adversity was faced. Adversity was faced last year, and now you've got some sort of an extra new thing to go with having a new season. So I suspect, honestly, that Lane's players are really excited about having him there, and that I think they're really excited for what his presence can mean, just having a D1 type talent there in the secondary, which was already supposed to be pretty good. Aside from that, obviously Lane's offense last year was pretty abysmal. I mean, a lot of issues, honestly. Not enough protection for the quarterback, which I think they've tried to shore up pretty aggressively. Terrence Ayers, might be the starting quarterback. We'll have to see what they're going to end up doing there. They brought in a new guy from Georgia as well. That, they'll be kind of competing, and Ayers has been around longer, but not necessarily maybe as much raw talent as somebody. But anyway, Lane has some options there, quarterback. But they still got they got to prove it.
Sure.
They got to prove when you're getting beat 55-0 or whatever it was on homecoming last year to Miles. You got to prove it.
Right.
And so can Lane get a win this week? Yeah, of course they can. But I want to see Lane consistently against SIAC opponents score, defend. We haven't really seen a lot of Lane teams do both for an extended period of time.
No.
Very well. In 2013, which was their best year, and recently they had maybe the best offense in the league, but their defense wasn't what it needed to be.
They were outscoring everybody.
To hang with the teams like Tuskegee that were really miles upper echelon. So, can they have that kind of team? It'll probably take a few weeks for us to get a real good glimpse of it, but we'll see.
All right, well then, for all the coverage Saturday, he's going to take care of it, or at least he'll take care of it from the UTM standpoint. You are going down to Oxford Saturday. If you wear that shirt, you'll fit in with all the frat guys down there.
Yeah.
But
no croakies, though. I'm not going to go too far.
But follow him for updates probably from before kickoff. You'll probably get there about a couple hours before kickoff.
Yeah, it'll be early.
And throughout the game, and then you can read about it on JacksonSun.com later that evening and in the print edition Saturday or Sunday morning. Lane will try to keep up with as well as they're down in Selma, Alabama. But JS Ryder Craig is the Twitter handle you need to follow for that. Good luck to all the teams, and we'll pick up with Bethel next week as they will be traveling to UTM next week. That'll be a fun one for you to kind of preview next week.
Yeah, and just to mention Bethel real quick, that was, Missouri Baptist, not the best team they're going to play all year by any stretch, but I think 41-point win has to do a lot for their conference as well, given sort of the troubles that they've gone through the last couple of years, to just, after getting blown out in the first couple openers, to just sort of take a stand right away and dominate like they should. Pretty good signs to start.
That's right. So good luck to your team Saturday. No matter what teams you follow, good luck to them, and we'll see you back here next week.